Okay, well, good morning, everyone. Bon matin à toutes et tous. Bienvenue à la réunion générale de l'Association des Cités du Nouveau-Brunswick. Welcome to our annual general meeting for the Cities of New Brunswick Association. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that today we're gathering on, and as 8 cities across the province, we represent communities in the traditional, ancestral and unceded territories of the Wolastoqey, Mi'kmaq, and Passamaquoddy people. So, and we do, I guess, also thank you to Fredericton for being a great host over the last couple of days for our stakeholder days, and again today for our annual meeting. And welcome and thank you to you all. Un grand merci pour être ici. As I mentioned last night, last year, we were not able to have the meeting. 2 years ago, I believe we had a sort of a shorter virtual version. So this is our first time back together in our full format in 3 years. And so it is great to have everybody back together today. And thank you again for coming. I know it's also our first get together really of this new term. So a special welcome and congratulations to any councillors and mayors, who are joining us for the first time. And now you've got a year under your belt, but thanks to the magic of municipal reform, you've still got 4 more to go. So we've got a year in and a full term to go. I would like to take a moment also to introduce, again, because it's our first time, and also introduce our Executive Director, Pierre Boulet. Pierre is, let's hear it for Pierre, everyone. Pierre came into his role with us just over about a year ago now, last summer. So I was explaining to some of the councillors over breakfast, to come in the middle of the pandemic at the beginning of municipal reform was like Pierre coming into a role drinking from a fire hose. And so we certainly appreciate all of the work that Pierre has done to put together today in the last few days. And of course, all the work throughout the year as well. Just a quick sort of high level really perspective on for everyone. For those of you who may not be as familiar with our association and what we do, I'm sure you're aware there are 3 municipal associations here in New Brunswick, and it's lots of fun to debate whether there should be or not, but that's not what we're doing today. Although I will acknowledge that as a cities association with 8 city members, we know that our cities have unique perspectives, unique needs and challenges. And so there's a lot of value for us in having a venue, the Cities Association, for 8 cities to work together, not just on advocacy, but on collaboration. And I think that's an important part to mention that maybe not everybody is aware of, is that through the association, our 8 mayors are constantly connected and have each other for advice, for best practices, for knowledge sharing, as do our 8 CAOs. So there is a lot of work that happens with this association. It really is a working association, doing a lot of work on your behalf behind the scenes. And also through that is that our executive that is made up of the 8 city mayors, we have monthly calls with Pierre where we set our agenda and help to move things forward. And Pierre also chats regularly with the CAOs and other members of staff from our cities, as we put together our advocacy efforts, carve out our positions, figure out what's working and what's not working depending on the issue. And I'll acknowledge too, as one of the smaller cities in our collective, there's great value for us in being able to tap into the resources of the bigger cities who have a little bit more staff and knowledge expertise sometimes in different areas that actually benefits all of us through the association. So there's great value in working together. And we all know when it comes to advocacy and dealing with the provincial government that 2 voices are stronger than 1, and 8 voices united is the most effective way for us to have any chance of creating success and change at the provincial level that we need to see. So I would just like to highlight, for example, last term, we identified, as we alluded to last evening, our Strong Cities, Strong Province document. We had 5 key priorities. And together we were able to advocate and succeed in achieving I say 3. I guess the premier says 4, but we'll have to check the ticket. Certainly, for example, the hotel tax levy was a big win for us, and the changes that we've been working towards as municipalities for years towards the binding arbitration process with police and fire. These changes will have a big positive impact on our communities and ensuring savings in some cases and a revenue stream to help promote ourselves when it comes to the levy. And so right where we find ourselves right now, as we know, over the last couple of years with COVID and now finally with reform, which was one of the other objectives, was to achieve municipal reform. And I guess we're still midstream on that and the jury's still out. You know, our vision for municipal reform was that it would empower cities and municipalities across the province. We know there needed to be structural reform, and our focus has been on the fiscal side of things. And really at a high level, our objective is to achieve the transfer of tax room back from the province to municipalities where more of that funding belongs. And so we're sort of seeing, we're not sure if that is going to be achieved, but we're certainly optimistic and we'll continue to advocate for the best possible outcome for our cities moving forward. But in addition to that, you know, over the last couple of days, during stakeholder days, today and over the next few weeks, we're at a period as an association where we're setting the agenda for this term. So we're in the process of identifying those 5 key priorities and goals, and then working to define them and advance them to government like we did last time. And so over the last 2 days during the stakeholder days, which was the very first time we've done this, our 8 city mayors and CAOs have had nonstop meetings for 2 days with ministers, with officials from different departments in areas where we need to see progress and need to see collaboration. And of course, with the premier last evening. And our message in these meetings has been pretty consistent, and in particular with the premier. You know, we have felt like we had success with the premier in terms of him understanding that our cities are economic engines of the province and are the centers and hearts of our regions, and that we have a special role to play in the province. And it's not about we need this, it's about help us help you to achieve the growth that we all need to see. We know that the majority of the growth is coming from our cities. We have a majority of the population of the GDP of our province, and we support and are a service center for most of the other communities who are nearby to at least one of us. And so with the premier, we feel like we've seen maybe an erosion, and our objective is not to be seen as a government stakeholder like every other stakeholder in the province, but to be seen as an equal parallel level of government and a true partner. So many of these challenges that we face, homelessness, affordable housing, mental health and addictions, these are now on our doorstep, and many of our cities are involved in these in ways that we haven't been before. But we need provincial leadership, we need provincial plans, and we need to be working collaboratively to pool our resources and efforts to maximize making a difference on some of these issues in our communities. So that was our message to the premier, is we need you to engage us as a partner. We have knowledge, we're on the ground, we're living and dealing with these situations each and every day. And by not having us engaged as a partner in building these plans, you're missing out on an opportunity to have the best impact for the citizens of New Brunswick. And I would have to say, and I hope the other mayors would agree, I think the message was received. And so the premier has told us yesterday that he is anxiously awaiting our updated list of 5 priorities so that we can roll up our sleeves and work together meaningfully to achieve those goals. So I think that was good news coming out of yesterday's meeting, and it was a real discussion. And so that's what brings us to today. So we've got an exciting and robust agenda with many of these issues front and center. And really today is about engaging with all of us. So I want to encourage everybody to make sure that you get involved, share your thoughts, ask your questions. We're educating ourselves and putting ideas out on the table as we work towards identifying the priorities and the policies around that, that we will be advancing in the years ahead. So we're looking forward to today's discussions. And again, thank you all for being here. Merci beaucoup. I will now, you know what, I just did the whole thing and I didn't introduce myself. Belatedly, I'm Adam Lordon, the mayor of the wonderful and beautiful city, the mighty Miramichi. And I'm also your president of the Cities of New Brunswick Association. And it's a role that I've really enjoyed being in. And I've been in, hard to believe, now for 4 years, and looks like it'll be 2 more. So we're not going anywhere, and we still do have a full mandate to work together on behalf of our communities and our citizens. And I'll acknowledge that Mayor Arnold from Moncton is our vice president of the association as well. And I do, and really the key is the engagement, though, of all of our mayors and our staffs, because we're working together effectively and regularly, and it is making a difference. So